Okay, let's go for the part two. So I told the 2009 story, I told the 2015 story. So you guys know I told you about, the time she tried to broke up with him for good. Diddy pretended he was fine with it. Then he allegedly, after their dinner, forced his way into her home. I think it was one of Diddy's residences, if I'm not mistaken. And then he allegedly R-worded her. Then after that, Cassie had to be strong and she had to, pack all her stuff and leave. She sold the cars he gave her. She sold everything, even maybe the jewels. But now, thank God she's doing better. She's now married. After her breakup with Diddy, she then met this fitness coach, I think, named Alex Fine. They actually met through Diddy because he's training celebrities, and he actually first started to train Diddy, then he started to train Cassie. I don't know what happened for them to, talk, and Cassie to see that he was trustworthy. And but then, things happened. They fell in love, and things went really fast because they started dating in late 2018, or shortly after Cassie's breakup with Didi. I think, their relationship was over a long time ago, actually. And that was shortly after Kim Porter's, goodbye to this world. So they started dating. Then in early 2019, they announced that Cassie was pregnant. Then he got married in August 2019. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, a few days after Cassie's 33rd birthday. Yeah, that was after that. Then their eldest daughter, Frankie, was born in early December 2019. And then their second daughter, Sunny, was born, if I'm not mistaken, late March 2021. She seems to be happy with her husband. Again, I don't know their lives. Cassie is a very private person. You may see her posting a lot about her husband and daughters, but the truth is she might post a picture of two and then disappear, for at least 2 months. Because I do recall when she gave birth to her youngest daughter, Sunny, she posted all those pictures, then she was gone for at least 2 months just so she could rest and get back in shape, and then she was back on Instagram. She doesn't say much about herself. Maybe, I strongly believe that Didi also felt safe during those 5 years because he thought, hey, Cassie doesn't speak much. We know she won't say much. So I'm fine. But then he tried to shade her, last year during, was it the BET Awards? It was like, oh, Cassie, thank you for being with me during tough times. And I'm like, she's moved on. Stop it. Leave her alone. Now, in my personal opinion, I knew that something was off with their relationship. Reminder that when these two started dating, Cassie was 19, so she was barely legal, and Didi was 37. Okay, the age gap is huge, and it's not just the age gap itself; it's the fact that he's 37. He's in his late 30s. She's just become an adult. That's weird. And she's very close in age with some of his children, That's weird. So, I knew something was off within their relationship, but I didn't know it was this bad. Like, I could tell that Didi was, he was using Cassie as a plastic doll. He did not help her further grow her career. I mean, she had a few songs here and there, but she never really had an album. She didn't do much. She was just a model. But because of that, because it was, another case of, a black man showing, and because, people thought, oh, Cassie's half black. Cassie isn't even half black. She's just a woman of color. Her mother is partly black from what I heard, but she's not even fully black. Her father is Asian, is Filipino. But because she was dating a black man, at that time, people were like, oh, black love, black princess, black queen. And I'm like, oh, no. But now, the same ones, especially black men, now that she's moved on, she has a white husband, and you see her daughters, they will probably be considered women of color later. But they have white skin. Now they remember, oh, Cassie isn't black. That's hypocritical. Now, I think Diddy used that a lot. And because, in public, we would see them since, Cassie, she was scared to speak out at that time. And she doesn't speak much in public. People thought that because we would see her looking pretty all the time, being hot and all, we thought, oh, everything is fine. Even though we could tell that, oh, something is off with about our relationship. We don't know what, but it seems like Diddy only dates Cassie for her looks and nothing more. I could tell she was a plastic doll, but again, I didn't know it was this bad. For me, at best, if anything, she had to endure his cheating because, all the women he had around him, especially Cassie and Kim Porter, he would get mad every time these two were around other men. But it's also notorious that he was cheating on them. Weird, right? But again, we thought that Cassie, she dressed pretty. At best, she had to endure the cheating. She had to endure maybe intimidation, or his intimidating behavior. Or at best, maybe, mistreatment, but more psychological. To me, it was just that. And in my opinion, I first thought that, when Cassie left Diddy for good, I thought to myself, oh, you know what? Maybe, she left, but he gave her a lot of money, and then she moved on with her husband. At that time, I had no idea, never thought we would hear about anything physical. Or at best, him grabbing her wrist or something like that. Never thought it was worse than what I could imagine. Which is funny because Diddy always, he always gave me weird vibes. I always found him to be very intriguing. And not in a good way. In a way like, okay, he's a businessman. He's one of the few black men, one of the few most powerful black men in the industry, in the entertainment industry, but there's something off about him. He's not the only one, of course. And I think there's worse than Diddy, but I just thought there's something about him. I don't know. And then there's his reputation with young boys and young women. And notice how he takes advantage of men and women, young men and women. He did both, which is why at the end of the day, he being on the down low does not really matter, because he hurt both young men and young women. However, there's a difference that I notice. When he mistreats young women, like he goes, he does it rough, in a very rough way. That is something that I noticed. He does it in a very rough way. Like, he has no pity for them. He will only show them in public, like, oh, we're pretty. Look, I have a beautiful girlfriend, since he was never married. But then I'm like, wow. It's like he wants to be these women at this point. With the whole Beyonce and Jay-Z situation, we learned that being an attractive woman does not prevent you from being cheated on. Actually, it applies for men too, but in this context, I will use women because it happens more to women than it happens to men. But you know, we learned with the Jay-Z Beyonce situation that being an attractive woman in the eyes of people or globally, it does not prevent you from being cheated on. But now with Cassie, and allegedly what he allegedly used to do to Kim Porter, being an attractive woman in the eyes of many people does not prevent you from, you know, being hurt, you know, physically. Despite being aware of these women's looks, these women were beautiful in the eyes of many people, Kim Porter and Cassie, but Diddy did what he allegedly did, you know. He put his hands on these women. And what's worse, that, you know, you can tell how much he did not care. It's to hear that it's not just, you know, at least it still would be bad, but, you know, at least you could, you know, touch them, you know, in their arms, their wrists. No, he allegedly put his hands on these women's faces. And I'm like, I thought that men focused more on the looks than women do for men. So you're like wondering, oh my gosh, does he want to be these women? Because the men being on the DL, not all, but the men being on the DL, oftentimes they, you know, since they can't own up to what they actually are, they often project on, you know, on their victims. And in that case, I feel like, oh, you know, Diddy wishes he had those looks, so he's projecting them onto Cassie and probably Kim Porter. That's weird, because you know, I also heard that, you know, one of his former rivals in the music industry, R&B singer I'll Be Sure, who's the biological father of Diddy's his non-official eldest son Quincy. It's rumored that he apparently, you know, he made sure that Quincy would be with them more, and as partly the reason why he allegedly broke up I'll Be Sure and Kim, because he was jealous of I'll Be Sure, he was jealous of his looks, and, you know, and in return, because he's trying so hard to prove that he is Quincy's father and that he spent years with them. You see, that is like a divine message from God. Quincy looks so much like his dad, even taller, even more handsome than his dad. He looks so much like his father. Probably the lips, I can see Kim's lips, but the rest, that is that even the skin tone. And again, Americans, please don't hate on me. I'm like wondering, you know, what is I'll Be Sure's race? Because he looks mixed. I'm thinking maybe he's a black man who has a full black parent and a biracial one, you know, because I know that Kim Porter had brown skin tone just like mine, but she had a black father and a biracial mother, if I'm not mistaken, because I saw old pictures of her mom. And that is why, you know, when you combine it to Kim Porter, black with mixed heritage, probably I'll Be Sure as well, that could explain why Quincy came out like that. You know, it looks like, you know, all those black children who looks ambiguous, they look mixed due to their mixed heritage, and even the black parent isn't really dark skinned. Like, have you seen Kimora Lee's daughters, like Beyonce or Rihanna? Those black people with one biracial parent, and, you know, they come out with the black the biracial parent skin tone. I was wondering, but one thing for sure, it's, you know, it's you know, just astounding how Quincy got his biological father's looks. And besides the years since I'll Be Sure is his father, they were born on the same day. And Diddy has to think about it every single day. even the skin tone. It's not even a combo of his father's skin tone with Kim Porter's skin tone. He is a exact copy of his father. Now, as you guys know, his official first son, and you know what, Quincy, I think he did a great job by just mentioning that he has two fathers. I think it's just best that way. Um, there's this rumor, his official eldest son, Justin, who's now involved in new scandals with him, allegedly. There's this rumor that I heard that Diddy wasn't his biological father. Now, I know for a fact that Justin he looks a lot like his mother, but I heard that, Justin wasn't Diddy's real father. It is rumored that his biological father was a former bodyguard of Diddy who was there to help him during that incident caused by Diddy and one of his former artists, Jamal Shine. At that time, he had broke up with Kim and he was dating J-Lo. I don't think I need to recall that story, but there's been this rumors about that bodyguard being Justin's dad. I don't know if it's true. If it's true, it would not surprise me. Wouldn't be the first time that Diddy is trying to take credit for certain kids. Who knows if they had an agreement, because unlike Quincy, we know that Quincy's last name is Brown, but for Justin it still comes, so who knows if they had an agreement. And Misha, by the time Justin was born, Misha was with Diddy, Justin's mom. She was with Diddy, but so who knows. And God knows what may have happened behind the scenes after that drama in the late 90s. J-Lo didn't want to deal with that anymore, so she left. But and Shine took the blame. He took the blame. But after that, shortly after that, Wolf left this world. So I find it weird. Did something happen behind the scenes? We may never know. Again, that's just me. So, another thing that I wrote down was, oh yeah, Gene Deal. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard. Another one of Diddy's former bodyguards, Gene Deal. I don't know what to think of him, but I know he's telling tons of truth, so I'm taking the truths. So according to him, when he heard about Cassie's lawsuit, he said that he didn't know much about Kim, but he's not surprised. He's not surprised because, according to him, another person went through similar things, and that is Kim Porter. And Kim Porter, to me, she, I feel like she was the peacemaker behind the scenes. She's the one who helped Diddy's image be, be clean as possible. She did the most work. I think she did the most work, even, gathering all of Diddy's kids together, even though they didn't have the same mother. And I feel like it cost her life at the end of the day, which is sad. Now, I have my theory. I don't know what to think, but I would not be surprised if it really turned out that her living in this world wasn't her being sick. I think it was, it could be more than that. Then, according to Gene Deal, the FOs that Diddy would pay for those nights with Cassie, since Cassie had, her head wasn't doing well because of the substances, but according to Gene Deal, Diddy did not he did not have those efforts solely for Cassie. He believed that Diddy used to do certain things with those men after Cassie did what she had to do with those men. This, I could believe that. For some reason, I believe that. Because it is not a coincidence that he would insist on Cassie choosing mostly dark-skinned black men. Uh, Also, from what we saw, there's Diddy's reputation. I think with Cassie settling the case, not just him settling the case, the problem is how fast he did it. Because, of course, he denied the allegations. Then it was reported that he settled the case. I mean, Cassie's team already reported that Diddy tried to settle the case months ago, but she refused. And then when she eventually agreed to do it, that Diddy was the one who insisted, because at the beginning he didn't want to. But then I think he saw the allegations. He saw how bad they were. Now, in the eyes of justice, the case is settled, you know. So it means nothing anymore. But I think Cassie, that was part of her plan. She told her story via allegations, so people could, make of them what they will make of them. But with the details, and she dated the man for over 20 years. She knew that most people would know that she's not lying. In my personal opinion, she's not lying. In this video, I am using allegedly because, again, I wasn't there. I don't want to get sued. And again, I wasn't there when those things happened. But with all those details, I highly doubt she's lying. And the fact that he settled, not just the fact that he did it, but how fast he did it in 24 hours, it's more like, oh, Cassie told too many truths. She told too many truths, and she probably, I believe the lawsuit actually had more things, more stories. Probably too bad for Diddy to, handle that. And Diddy was, that's not looking good for him, because Diddy, he was trying to pull a Jay-Z. He was trying to rebrand his image, hence his new nickname, Brother Love. He was trying to rebrand and, be the good guy and, no longer associate with solely the whole crazy rapper from the hood. Funny thing, there's this no snitching rule, but Diddy, I believe he was snitching on ADL, on many people. He snitched on many people, then he would get away, because of his status, he would get away with certain things, while, people who don't have his power could not. Now, according to Gene Deal, he allegedly left because of Diddy's mother's inappropriate behavior towards him. She was trying to hit on him. He refused. So, he got fed up and then left. He seems to know a lot. And then there's another drama queen. I don't know what her intentions are, but she doesn't seem to be lying, because no one pressed charges against her for now. That is Jaguar Wright. So according to Jaguar Wright, and based on her story, there's one thing that I feel like she's not lying. Apparently, Cassie and Kim Porter, before Kim left us, they had a secret conversation. And her story appears to be confirmed thanks to Cassie's latest evidence. She provided evidence to big services, including Kim Porter's burner phone, and apparently tapes of Diddy. Now, of course, Diddy thought that with, Cassie's story and him settling in 24 hours, he thought, what? People are going to assume what they're going to assume. I need to rebrand. And he did not expect that 5 days later, more lawsuits would come his way. So it's like Cassie did it on purpose. She agreed to the settlement because, she didn't want to hurt her brain even more, talking about it, going to try to court. But she opened a can of worms, because when you gather all evidence, whether it's from Cassie's allegations and from all those other women and probably other males, because now there's a man now who's suing Diddy. When you gather all their stories together, Diddy appears to have an MO. And that is why he's not lying. That the man is not lying, Cassie is not lying, all those other women are not lying. So I'm done with this part, and I'll come back for part 3.